Howdy-o, what do you know? This is Rabbit of ScrubLeet Academy, and we are back in Dungeons & Dragons Online, and I figure we're going to continue with this because you're still letting me, so I'm still going to do it. So, the big thing here that we're farming today, we're going to actually combine all of these elementals into one big video because really, the places to farm any one of them are pretty much the same throughout, with the exclusion of water elementals. So we're going to go ahead and go through a couple of those places right now. So I will say right off the bat, if you don't care which elemental you get and you're looking for them all, go to Temple of Elemental Evil. It's probably the best farming, just going through with a few people just to zerg through the whole thing. But if you're farming out a particular one, well, we're in the right place for that too, because we are actually going to the Lord of Eyes. Place you wouldn't necessarily expect, but if you're a veteran, you definitely know the value of this place. Respawning elementals pretty much endlessly. So we'll go right in. And this one's a bit of an addendum from our previous video about aberrations. In that one, we really didn't find any aberrations that were worth anything in here. Not compared to most other locations that we could find them. So what we're doing here is instead manipulating something that I didn't really know all that much about before I started playing it in that video. And that is the elemental population that you can get to. So we're just going to run really quickly through it. We'll kill off everything we see here. Yeah, Freezing Gaze. We'll get rid of him. Get rid of the Greater Evil Eyes if we can. There we go. And you. And you. We'll just get rid of everything we can find and just zoom right through. Clear them out. You still get a couple of Beholders here. They're just, it's not as good as if you were to do Invaders, honestly. So I'd still recommend Invaders pretty much unanimously over this. And in this one, there is a bit of a preamble to try and get to the location that we want. And we do have to actually kill all these things to open those doors. See the red bands go away as soon as we kill something. So we'll go ahead, get rid of everything we see here. I think I missed one. Yeah, he was sitting in the corner there. Didn't even notice him. Bludgeoning damage over time, huh? That's interesting. Are we missing one still? Yes, we are. Get over here, you. All right, 69. Nice. So we can talk to Herodotus. Sure, just tell me how. Got it. Here's your first place. This is Fire Elementals right here. Since it's the easiest to access, we might as well go ahead and make it the first point that we access. If you're a ranger, then you're definitely going to have an easier time of farming this location. For Temple of Elemental Evil, it doesn't really matter if you're a melee or a ranged. In fact, I think melee probably would be the best, other than, say, just a sorcerer casting Meteor Swarm. So honestly, yeah, I mean, if you're a ranged toon, it's going to be a lot easier to do pretty much every one of these elementals, but you can go ahead and just farm them out like that, especially if you've got a couple of people in melee to cover both sides of the room. They respawn relatively quickly while you're dealing with others. Now these guys seem to be on a much larger respawn timer, and you don't want to do what I did there, which is bring him into the red circle. What you want to do is kill him outside of that circle. So go over here, kill him here. They all count as kills, and you'll see that they respawn pretty decently as well. So we'll just get rid of him. Goodbye. And go over here and get rid of the other one. And pretty much, if you've got any toon worth it, you could probably kill these things before they have a chance to even notice that you're there. So it's not a super bad location, but the big thing about this one is that all of your elementals will respawn endlessly. So right outside the fire elemental domain, we can fight our way to the earth elementals, which will be this right side path, which honestly is pretty easy to skip, so you may want to... I probably should have gone straight for that Mind Flayer. Eventually I'll get out of here. There we go. Goodbye. But it's an easy area to miss, so you always want to keep an eye out. As soon as you re-enter this hallway here, you're going to want to turn at those shelves there and just go straight in here. And as you'll notice, all of the red bands there are done. And we should have just a free breakaway here. Just get rid of a couple of these eyeballs to keep them out of the way. And there's our elementals all the way off to the side there. Yep, they're just hanging out. There's 3 of them that spawn just like the fire ones. There's 3 of each elemental type that spawn. But just like the fires, you can get rid of these guys before they even become a threat. Just clean them out and move along. Mushroom, nice. Clean them up, move along, and just get rid of the evil eyes as you see them. There we go. And these guys seem to respawn a little quicker than the fire elementals. See, he's already back. So we're actually pretty decent there. So why don't we just go ahead and count it out and see what the respawn timer is. Alright, so it seems like they respawn once every 20 seconds or so, which is pretty decent. And as I say, you could just keep doing this if you want. Just keep going back and forth. It's a slow method, definitely, but you'll never have to go anywhere else for them. So for air elementals, you'll want to make sure to take the central path, not either of the two sides. One of these teleporters will be inert. You always want to take the first active one that's on the central platform. And air elementals, pretty easy to attract. They come down here pretty quickly, and you can just go ahead and get rid of them. Now, mind you, unless you're a range toon, you're pretty much going to have to deal with air elementals knocking you around. And keep them away from the red, because as soon as they come into the red... Oh my goodness. There we go. Come on, you. Hit them. There we go. As soon as they get in the red, you're going to have to worry about them disappearing on you. And with a melee, they might throw you around enough that they'll knock you into here. But you can see that they respawn decently quickly, too. I think theirs is also a 20-second respawn timer. So basically, same thing as the fire and the earth. Go ahead and just kill them pretty much indiscriminately and constantly. So basically, second verse, same as the first. Air elementals are the exact same as your earth elementals, your fire elementals, and your water elementals. As I say, they're not really all that difficult, so don't worry too much about taking them down. Actually, the waters probably are the strongest of all the elementals, at least against me. I have no cold resistance, but I also have evasion, and you can pretty much use evasion or saving throws against everything. As I say, the waters, there are definitely better places to farm them. Link in the description for the monster manual guide that'll sort of tell you a specific way and the vastly superior way to farm water elementals. But you might as well go ahead, if you're farming everything, you can farm out waters and it's not going to hurt anything either. But if you're not into long, boring, tedious, yet lucrative grinding, you might as well go ahead and try out the Temple of Elemental Evil. And go into the heroic version, please. Otherwise, you will get destroyed. Temple of Elemental Evil Part 2, heroic. Even then, the amount of mobs in here can do some work to you. So keep that in mind. You can probably get used to red alerts. But really, what you're looking for are areas that are similar to this. You want these little green symbols off to the right and left of your screen. I should probably get rid of some of these, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's get rid of a few of these, but I'll keep prattling as I go. So basically, you want to enter one of these nodes, and it's kind of a process of elimination to figure out which one of them is active at any given time. That's why this area is not the best for farming a specific type, because you may have to go through 2-3 other nodes even to get to the one that you want. So it's always every other one, so we'll skip that area and go straight in here and see what we've got to go with. And avoid as many of these temple guards as possible. Yeah, even this one, see the fire isn't up either. So it takes a little bit to find the one that you really want. That's why I don't necessarily recommend this for farming elementals, because there aren't a significant amount of elementals compared to other dungeons that you can farm them in. And it's not nearly as lucrative. That being said, it's probably a lot more fun. Like, look at how many enemies you get to destroy, and there's so much stuff to farm here. If you're looking for nothing in particular, you want orcs, you want humans, you want elementals, you want, whatever, Mephits, then this is easily the most enjoyable place to go to farm all that out. Because you'll get them pretty well everywhere, and it doesn't take all that long, honestly. And we'll see, is the water node available to us now? Nope. So we actually, through the process of elimination, we kind of ruled out everything except for the final one. Which means that... There we go, get rid of them. Which means that no earth, no fire, no water, it must be the air node. Now, air elementals, I will say this is the best place to farm out your air elementals. And you'll notice that you do have these nodes atop, the ones that actually are active. So you can go ahead and go into those if you really want to just rule out guaranteed exactly where you're going. And you'll see you've got a bunch of node-borne air elementals. So let's just throw this on, because they're going to throw us around, so we might as well take them down as we go. Oh my goodness. Let's try to avoid them. Ah! Try to avoid them. There we go. Now they stopped moving, we actually have a better chance to get rid of the air elementals in particular. Except for that guy who's annoying us. There we go. So you'll know which node is active because there'll be a bunch of that elemental type outside the node. And we've got air nodes, so we'll just go in. So I think pretty much everybody watching this video has gone through the Temple of Elemental Evil at some point, so I'll just give you a quick rundown. Air node has some Jinni, but they do not contribute to the Efreet manual hunter thing, so you don't really want to worry too much about them. Now mind you, what we do have here, other than air elementals, are invisible stalkers, which there one is right there. Node-borne invisible stalker, and I'm going to prove to you that those things actually do count. So air elementals, 176. Oh my goodness, we could have had that kill. So yes, 176 on airs, node-borne. Get over here, you. And 177. Flipped right there. So the thing about these is farming air elementals here is actually twice as easy as any other elemental, because both air elementals and those invisible stalkers count towards your exterminators. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these right onto the elementals video as well. If you're looking for Mephits and Mudmen. Mephits are pretty much everywhere. You can go into any node, so it's actually a really good recommendation, because you can see all of these groups seem to have a Mephit in them, or 3 or 12. But Mephits are in pretty much every group, so you really don't have to worry about which one you go into. So the luck is not actually as extreme for these, which means that Temple has become the best place for them. And finally, topping off our Temple of Elemental Evil video for today, we're going to be talking about the final creature in the Elementals drop-down menu, the Mudman. So Mudmen can be found in several different areas in Ditto, but honestly, I find right here to be the best place for them. Actually, I could use a couple of those rusties. Nice. But I find this to be the absolute best area for Mudmen, just because they tend to spawn a lot more commonly here than anywhere else. See, there we go. There's some Mudmen right there. And you can get a decent 4 per group, unless you get an entire Mudman grouping, in which case you can get 8, maybe 9, I'm not sure, but I think it was 8. But still, amongst all the other groups, even among elementals, if you find Mephits, whatever, you'll still find a couple of Mudmen in there. So that'll still be decent for you. You've pretty much got Mudmen in every group that you'll come across, which is really, really decent. And they're pretty easy to farm out here. I've actually got my Mudmen already done, attesting to how easy it is. I've farmed this place out quite extensively, but I was never really farming Mudmen. They just sort of happened. So if you really want Mudmen, just go into Temple of Elemental Evil. That's a really good first option. There is also White Plume Mountains Mudman section. I would recommend that if you're trying to farm just them and you don't want to randomly find, you know, the fire node, for example, and you have to go through all the nodes in order to get there. It's a little less random in White Plume Mountain. It's a little less random, but it's not so much better that you really need to worry too much. Oh, hey, Grank. Oh! And Jer is right down the road from him, too. Sure, whatever, dude. Okay, this is an entire group of Mudmen, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 and just 1 Mephit. Not bad, not bad. You can get a decent amount of them, though, as I say. They're pretty commonplace as far as the enemies in this area go. Oh my goodness. Melf's Acid Arrow, you gotta go away. So yeah, just come in here, farm out your Mudmen, farm out your Mephits, farm out your Rusties, and everything else. Once again, Temple is not the best specifically for this particular monster, but if you're farming everything else out, and as I say, I got these without even trying, go ahead and just come in here and farm these out to your heart's content. There we go. Bring in a bunch of creatures and just wipe them out all at once. It's a little easier to deal with. You don't really have to worry too much about randomly finding different monsters, because Mudmen are probably one of the most common in the Earth node. Mudmen and Mephits are really, really common. There we are, and you see, they're pretty much all one-shot. If you had an AoE effect, you could get rid of these immediately. So any of these farming videos you're watching up to this point and beyond, you can probably do it a lot easier as a sorcerer, so I'm actually making it look a little tougher, to be quite honest. And it's still pretty easy. There's not much more to it than that, though. Pretty much any of those areas can contain elementals, and there's a plethora of other monsters you can farm if you really want to. If you're not looking for anything in particular, I would recommend Temple of Evil pretty much for any monster that you can possibly find in there, because they're so numerous. Still, I'll let you figure out the specifics of that yourself. I'm just recommending it as an option. I would say that if you're looking for a boring but very obviously valuable grind, and you're going to get slightly more numbers and not have to worry about going anywhere or getting lost or anything like that, go for Lord of Eyes. They just respawn endlessly, so you might as well take advantage of it. But if you want to have a little more fun, a little more risk, as you can see, we were down to 65% in that dungeon, and that is a level 7 dungeon. So really dangerous, really dangerous. But a lot more fun, honestly. Gets the blood pumping. If you want that kind of enjoyment, I would say go Temple. That's probably a better dungeon just to play that. You don't want to sit around farming and make it feel like a grind. So go for Temple for that. The only thing about Temple, though, is you really can't choose what mobs are going to be, what you've got to farm. You've got to actually just go with the flow on it. Other than that, though, I'm going to get up out of here, and I will see you guys next time. If you have a comment, you go ahead and leave that down there. That would be awesome. I love to read those. And if you know any better locations to farm at elementals, go ahead and throw that down there, too. I'd love to get this discussion started. Other than that, though, I'm going to get up out of here. I will see you all a bit later. Bye-bye for now.